It is such an honor to be at such an event today. As I was leaving home, my mom cried so hard and says, "I can't believe you're going back to America. And I can't believe that my child, this little Zambian girl, an African child, is going to be at such an event with so many thought leaders speaking on global issues and trying to make a difference." It is such an honor to be here with each one of you, and I'm standing here as a Mandela Washington Fellow from the Mandela Washington Fellowship 2014 group. I'm an alumni of the Presidential Precinct. I'm Lulu Haangala. I come from Zambia, and my trip to the US last year was really emotional because I'd always wanted to come to the US. On the first day at the Presidential Precinct, a certain lady walked into the room, and I was standing with 3 other Mandela Washington Fellows, one from Ethiopia, one from Cameroon, and another one from Nigeria. And immediately she walked in, we started talking about her. There was something about the way she carried herself. And when she spoke, we had even more to speak about, especially as the young women in the group, as young leaders from Africa. We were inspired by her. We were inspired because we now knew that we can also someday be like her. There's nothing wrong about being ambitious or wanting more for yourself as a young woman or taking up a leadership role. It's okay. And she inspired us. And today, it's an honor to introduce this amazing lady. And she's the Assistant and the Secretary of State for Education and Cultural Affairs. Evan Ryans, in this capacity, she oversees a wide range of academic, cultural, private sector, professional, youth, and sports exchange programs to increase mutual understanding between the people of the United States and the people of other countries and promotes peaceful relations. One thing that stands out for me is her mission to promote girls' education. In my country, I'm very passionate about young women and the role that they're going to play in the next generation. As a young female leader in a country where not a lot of women hold leadership positions, I too love that she's promoting girls' education. And I'll try my best too to continue to do that. Please put your hands together for Assistant Secretary Evan Ryans.
Thank you, Lulu. It's really humbling to hear Lulu talk about that day because I remember it vividly, and I remember how inspired I was meeting all of our Yali Fellows who were with us at the Presidential Precinct, and it was a very special day. I see many faces around the room from our partners who were there. So Lulu, you inspired us all, so I'm very humbled by your words and really glad that you're with us here today. And that you'll remain a part of our alumni and our groups. And great to be here with all of our other exchange participants as well. I would very much like to thank the Presidential Precinct for inviting me to join you all here today. You've created a wonderful event with a great audience here. And this is something that I know that is not just something you're doing today, but it's really your mission. And you've created events like these that inspire us all the time, and so we're really grateful for that and for your work. I'd like to specifically thank Jim Murray. I think, is Jim here? Okay, he's outside, of course, but yes, and Neil. I would like to thank Neil Piper and Stuart Gamage, and Doug Smith, the Vice President as well. So thank you all for your work and for joining us. I would also like to thank our partner, World Learning, which works hand in hand with the Department of State to bring emerging leaders like you to the United States to share experiences and ideas about their fields of expertise. And welcome to our young leaders. In any forum focused on the future, you are our most important audience, so this discussion is really about you. We're counting on you to take the next step in turning a world in which some people have access to justice into a world where all people have access to justice. The Magna Carta laid the foundation for guaranteeing the sanctity of individual rights and freedoms, and it continues to be an important symbol of liberty today. People need a healthy civil society, legal and judicial institutions, a free media, political and civil rights, elections and accountability to ensure their safety, dignity, and welfare. We also need to ensure transparency in government, an informed and educated populace, innovation in business, and so much more. I want you to consider another great document stored here in this very building, one profoundly inspired by the Magna Carta, and that is the U.S. Constitution. Think of the words of the preamble that lay out the purposes of our government: to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Without individual rights and freedoms, the rights that the Magna Carta first enshrined, these goals are vastly harder to achieve, if not impossible to achieve. Unfortunately, 800 years later, millions of people around the world are still deprived by their own governments of these fundamental rights, or such rights are reserved for privileged sectors of populations. We all have an important role in ensuring that our world continues to move in a positive direction and that we do not allow despotism, poverty, corruption, racism, or discrimination to impede people from the enjoyment of their inherent rights. From Kenya to Nepal to the United States, it is through strengthening democratic institutions, spurring economic growth, and enhancing peace and security that our countries and individuals will thrive. To achieve this, young leaders must be at the helm, and each of you has a role to play. Your time in the United States serves as an opportunity to spark a new conversation and inspire innovative practice in democratic governance. Across the world, your fellow exchange alumni have taken up this cause as a call to action, translating ideas into reality. In Africa, a group of Mandela Washington Fellows who completed their fellowship at the Presidential Precinct with Lulu joined forces with 40 of their colleagues to launch the Pan-African Leadership Incubator, or PALI. PALI provides young people from existing political parties with practical leadership training focused on rule of law, democratic governance, and civic engagement. PALI's goal is to prepare and position Africa's future policymakers for effective leadership. In Benin, Mandela Washington Fellow alumni launched a cross-country civic engagement roadshow last year to train 600 youth on election monitoring, civic engagement, and citizen journalism. The workshops encouraged youth to contribute to peaceful, transparent, and fair elections at a time of growing concern over Benin's municipal and legislative polls. And in Tajikistan, Ms. Golru Azamova took the charge in promoting good governance. After studying public administration at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill through the Hubert H. Humphrey Fellowship Program, Golru returned to Tajikistan and founded an NGO called the Center for Municipal Development. Since its inception, the center has mobilized resources at the municipal and local level to develop innovative new practices to improve bureaucratic efficiency and sponsor reforms in local planning, budgeting, and management across the country. And I don't want to exclude my own country. We believe we do well in the United States, protecting rights and freedoms. But no country is perfect. Not everyone in the United States has equal access to justice. We still have challenges. And during your stay in the United States, you will likely see that. But I hope you will also see that we in America do not shy away from self-criticism. We confront our weaknesses, we acknowledge them, and we try to fix them. I believe that spirit of honesty has been the key to the success of our country. One American who did his part to make our country better is a former Fulbright scholar, Patrick Dowd, who founded the Millennial Trains Project, a nonprofit organization that empowers enterprising and civic-minded millennials through transcontinental train journeys. After returning from India in 2010, Patrick began working as an investment banking analyst in New York City. And he started his work just as Occupy Wall Street really got started. As the protests grew, he was reminded of how differently he had observed youth coming together around the Jagriti Yatra in India, and felt that a similar initiative in the United States could provide a more positive model for channeling civil dissatisfaction. Inspired by his experience, Patrick brought this idea to life through the Millennial Trains Project. The original Magna Carta was written with a quill pen on fine sheets of paper made from animal hides. It was graced with a royal seal using beeswax and resin. But today, looking at all of you, I know that it is now up to you, our young leaders, to come up with the modern version of the quill pen, the keyboard, the tablet, or the smartphone, and advance the Magna Carta of our future. Thank you very much.